Hello, friends, and welcome back to Travel Vibes. If you're here, chances are you love cruising. The thrill of stepping on board, the sound of the ocean calling, the joy of exploring new ports, and that special feeling when the ship becomes your floating home. Maybe you're a first-time cruiser full of excitement, or maybe you're a seasoned traveler who has collected countless sunsets at sea. Either way, you know cruising is more than a vacation. It's a lifestyle. But here's the truth. Nothing ruins that dream faster than being turned away at the terminal. And in 2025, it's happening for reasons most travelers never expect. Hidden rules, tiny mistakes, even digital traps are catching people off guard. Today, I'm going to share the 15 shocking reasons cruise lines deny boarding in 2025 and show you how to avoid them so your vacation goes exactly as planned. So grab a cup of coffee, settle in, and let's dive in together. And if you love real-world cruise tips that save you stress and money, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss a voyage with us here on Travel Vibes. 1. Criminal records and entry restrictions. Let's begin with a rule that many travelers think they understand. But in 2025, it has become stricter than ever. Countries such as Canada, Australia, and New Zealand continue to enforce tough entry requirements for visitors with a past criminal record. And here's the surprising part. Even something as small as a decades-old DUI, which you may have long moved past in your life, can still trigger a denial. What many cruise lovers don't realize is that passenger manifests are sent ahead of time to port authorities. If even one country on your itinerary refuses you entry, the cruise line will often choose not to let you board at all. They do this to protect the rest of the itinerary and avoid legal issues. Imagine booking a dream voyage with stops in breathtaking places, only to find that a small detail from your past shuts the door before your holiday even begins. This is why seasoned travelers, the kind who love the freedom of the open sea, the chance to meet new cultures, and the joy of discovering hidden corners of the world, treat preparation as part of the adventure. Just like a captain checks the tides before sailing, you should check the entry rules for every port before booking. Famous travel experts often remind us, the smoothest journeys are the ones planned with precision. So, if you have any past convictions, no matter how far back, the smart move is to research carefully, consult legal advice if needed, or even apply for rehabilitation. That extra step ensures that when you arrive at the terminal, you'll be greeted with a smile and a welcome aboard, not the dreaded words, "Sorry, you can't board." 2. Hygiene and medical odors. Now let's talk about something a little uncomfortable, but very real. In 2025, cruise lines are paying closer attention than ever to hygiene and comfort standards. Passengers have been denied boarding when body odor or visible hygiene issues raised concerns about the well-being of others on board. This may sound harsh, but cruise contracts give companies wide authority under the Fit to Travel clause, which is designed to protect the health and comfort of every guest. For those of us who love cruising, the long dinners with ocean views, the shared laughter by the pool, the thrill of meeting fellow travelers from around the world, it's easy to see why cruise lines set these rules. A ship is a small floating community, and the atmosphere depends on everyone feeling comfortable and respected. In fact, there are known medical conditions like trimethylaminoria, also called fish odor syndrome, that can cause unavoidable challenges. The good news is that cruise lines today encourage travelers to reach out in advance. Their accessibility departments exist to help, and when you provide medical documentation, they can often arrange solutions so you won't face last-minute surprises. As travel author Rick Steves often says, preparation is freedom. The same applies here. A little communication before your trip creates peace of mind for the journey. So if you're planning your next sailing, think of this not as a barrier, but as part of the shared responsibility we all have at sea. Cruisers, after all, are people who value community, adventure, and the joy of being together on the water. And when everyone does their part, the magic of the voyage only gets stronger. 3. Sabotaged or canceled reservations. Here's a risk that feels almost unbelievable, yet it's becoming more common in the digital age. Many of us love to share our excitement online, posting countdowns, snapshots of our tickets, or even a photo of the cabin we just booked. But in 2025, Oversharing has created new dangers. With just a booking number and a few personal details, scammers can step in, cancel your reservation, or even rebook it under their name. Imagine arriving at the port, suitcase in hand, only to discover your dream vacation has already been erased by a stranger's click. Cruise lovers are often enthusiastic storytellers. We celebrate every countdown, every milestone, every little detail of the journey. But this very passion can make us vulnerable when we forget that not everyone online shares our joy. Cybercrime has grown sharply in travel, with fraud experts warning that booking numbers are as sensitive as your credit card. That's why smart travelers today practice digital travel security. Guard your reservation like a password. Never post screenshots of your confirmation or boarding pass on social media, no matter how tempting it feels to show off that big trip. As the saying goes, loose lips sink ships. In this case, loose clicks can sink your cruise. And when you protect your digital footprint, you're not just securing your vacation, you're preserving that feeling of excitement, trust, and anticipation that makes cruising so magical in the first place. 4. Incomplete or incorrect booking information. For cruisers who love planning, savor sunsets on deck, and value smooth, stress-free check-ins, this one matters. A single wrong digit in your passport, a missing middle name, or a typo in your birth year can trigger immigration flags and stop your vacation before it starts. Cruise lines can't always fix databases on the spot. By the time the error is found, the ship may already be sailing. Think like a captain plotting a course. Open your booking the day you pay and read every field aloud. Then compare it to your legal ID, spelling, dates, numbers, suffixes. As the old craftsman's rule says, measure twice, cut once, and as travelers say, trust but verify. On screen, show a close-up of a passport photo page and a reservation form with one digit highlighted, then a green check after corrections. Make triple check a ritual. 2 quiet minutes now, buy days of peace of mind later. Next, we'll tackle damaged or mismatched documents, and why good enough isn't enough at the pier. 5. Damaged or mismatched travel documents. Having a passport is not enough, it has to be in excellent condition. In 2025, cruise lines are using advanced electronic scanners that detect things our eyes might ignore. A tiny tear, a faded photo, or even loose stitching can suddenly make your document invalid. For those of us who love the ease of boarding, the excitement of setting sail, and the freedom of exploring new horizons, this can feel like such a small detail to ruin such a big dream. That's why preparation is key. If your name has changed through marriage, divorce, or other life events, bring the proper supporting legal documents to avoid mismatches. Famous travel guides often say, your passport is your most valuable travel accessory, and that wisdom has never been more true. Renew it early, keep it safe, and treat it like the golden ticket it is. On screen, show a crisp passport next to one with a visible crease or tear. One image whispers, ready to board, while the other says, denied. Protecting your documents is protecting your peace of mind at sea. Next, we'll look at how health concerns can also affect your right to sail. 6. Unfit to travel. Health concerns. Health has always been important at sea, but in 2025, the standards are higher than ever. Post-pandemic caution remains strong, and even something as small as a persistent cough, a visible fever, or a bandage from recent surgery can raise concerns. Cruise terminals now have medical staff on site, and their priority is the safety of every passenger on board. For those of us who love the feeling of security at sea, the joy of meeting fellow travelers, and the peace of mind of being cared for, this rule exists to protect the community. Still, it can feel frustrating when your excitement is clouded by uncertainty. That's why seasoned cruisers practice medical readiness. If you've had recent health issues, carrying a doctor's fit-to-sail certificate is your best insurance. Travel experts often say, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And it's true on the ocean. Ships are not hospitals, and emergencies at sea are far harder to manage. So think of this not as a barrier, but as reassurance. By being open and prepared, you help create the safe, welcoming atmosphere that makes cruising so special. And with that peace of mind, you can focus on what truly matters, the adventure ahead. 7. Age restrictions and unaccompanied minors. Age might just be a number on land, but at sea it carries a whole different weight. You may be 18, legally an adult, and ready to explore the world. But if you're sailing from North America with Carnival or Norwegian, you must be 21 to stay in a cabin on your own. Virgin Voyages is a bit more relaxed at 18 plus. Yet families traveling with younger cruisers will often need notarized consent letters if children are sailing without their parents. For those who love the freedom of cruising, the chance to celebrate milestones, enjoy late-night shows, or simply feel independent, these rules can come as a surprise. But they're designed to maintain safety and consistency at sea. Different cruise lines, and even different departure ports, can apply different standards, which means assumptions can cost you your vacation. The wise traveler, the one who values planning, community, and stress-free adventures, always checks the fine print before booking. As travel writers often remind us, knowing the rules is part of enjoying the game. And in cruising, being aware of age restrictions ensures your journey begins with a smile, not a stop sign. 8. Clothing that breaks laws. It might be surprising, but sometimes what you wear can decide whether your cruise adventure begins smoothly or ends before it starts. In 2025, some Caribbean nations continue to enforce strict rules against camouflage clothing, reserving it only for military use. Step off the ship in the wrong outfit, and you could face fines or even denial of entry. At the same time, cruise lines themselves are becoming more attentive to what passengers wear, tightening their policies around offensive slogans or explicit graphics that could affect the family-friendly environment on board. For travelers who love cruising, the ones who enjoy dressing up for elegant dinners, strolling along sunlit decks, or capturing stylish photos against ocean backdrops, this reminder is not about limiting your fun, but about making your journey stress-free. As fashion experts often say, style is a way to say who you are without having to speak. And in travel, it's also a way to show cultural sensitivity and respect. So when you pack, think not only about comfort and style, but also about the message your clothes send at each port of call. By making thoughtful choices, you'll keep the focus on the joy of the voyage rather than unexpected trouble ashore. 9. Skipping the safety drill. The moment you step on board, the energy is electric. You hear music from the pool deck, smell the food waiting at the buffet, and feel that rush of excitement only cruisers truly understand. But before any of that fun begins, there's one rule that can't be avoided: the safety drill. It may seem like a small inconvenience, yet under maritime law it is absolutely non-negotiable. In 2025, cruise lines have taken it even further, with digital wristbands and mobile apps that track attendance. If you try to hide in your cabin or sneak to the bar instead, the system will know. Your cruise card can be deactivated, and you may even be escorted off the ship before it leaves port without any refund. For travelers who value community, adventure, and peace of mind at sea, this drill isn't a chore, it's a safeguard. Think of it as part of your ticket, a 5-minute step that could one day save your life. As safety experts often remind us, preparation is protection. By respecting the rules, you're not only protecting yourself, but also contributing to the safe and joyful spirit that makes cruising so unique. 10. Overbooking or cabin failures. One of the most frustrating surprises for travelers is discovering that your cabin isn't available. Just like airlines, cruise lines sometimes practice overbooking, or a sudden maintenance issue may make your room uninhabitable. It doesn't happen often, but when it does, it can turn that feeling of excitement into disappointment in a matter of minutes. For cruisers who love planning every detail, who dream of stepping into their stateroom and calling it home at sea, this can feel like the rug has been pulled out from under you. The reality is that guests holding so-called guarantee cabins face the highest risk, since these are assigned later and can be reshuffled when problems arise. That's why experienced travelers emphasize smart booking. Reserve early, choose a specific cabin, and finish online check-in the moment it opens. As travel advisors often remind us, the early bird doesn't just get the worm, it gets the cabin too. Think of it as part of being cruise ready. By taking small, proactive steps, you protect your peace of mind and ensure your adventure begins exactly the way you imagined. And next, we'll see how even your financial choices after a cruise can shape whether you're welcome back on board again. 11. chargebacks, and financial disputes. Money matters can follow you long after the voyage ends, and in 2025, cruise lines are paying closer attention than ever. While it may seem harmless to dispute a charge with your bank if something went wrong, cruise companies often treat chargebacks as a form of fraud. The result is serious. Some travelers only find out years later that they've been quietly blacklisted, unable to book again with an entire fleet. For those of us who love the thrill of planning, the joy of loyalty perks, and the comfort of returning to our favorite ships, this can be a devastating surprise. The smarter approach is always direct resolution. Reach out to the cruise line first, document your issue, and give them the chance to make it right. Industry experts emphasize that travel is a relationship, and keeping that trust intact is worth more than a quick refund from the bank. As the saying goes, don't burn the bridge you plan to cross again. By handling disputes with patience and clarity, you not only protect your future sailings, but also strengthen the community spirit that makes cruising so rewarding. And speaking of preparation, let's move on to how even your luggage choices could stop your trip before it begins. 12. Baggage violations and prohibited items. When most people think of luggage checks, they imagine obvious risks like drugs or weapons. But in 2025, security standards on cruise ships have become far stricter. Items as ordinary as an iron, a drone, or even a large surge protector can now raise red flags. After several fire-related incidents in recent years, cruise lines are determined to minimize any potential hazards before they ever reach the ship. For those of us who love carefree boarding, smooth check-ins, and the joy of unpacking in our stateroom, it's a reminder that even small details in your suitcase can shape your journey. This is where practicing packing literacy makes all the difference. Seasoned travelers don't just pack clothes and sunscreen, they review their cruise line's official prohibited items list every single time. Travel experts often say, what you leave behind matters as much as what you bring. And nowhere is that truer than at sea. So as you zip up your suitcase, think of it as more than packing for a vacation. It's preparing for peace of mind. A little attention now ensures that when you hand over your bag, the only thing waiting for you on the other side is excitement, not an unpleasant surprise. 13. Payment failures and fraud alerts. Another hidden trap in 2025 comes not from the pier, but from your own bank. Large cruise payments can sometimes trigger fraud alerts, especially if your card isn't used often for big international purchases. The system may automatically block the transaction, leaving your booking incomplete or silently canceled. For cruisers who love planning months ahead, who get excited about selecting dining times, excursions, and the perfect cabin, this can be a crushing setback if discovered too late. That's why experienced travelers practice financial vigilance. Before making your final payment, notify your bank or credit card company so they know the charge is legitimate. As financial advisors often say, communication prevents complication, and this is especially true when your dream trip is on the line. Taking this simple step means you'll never face the heartbreak of seeing your carefully planned voyage disappear because of a system designed to protect you. And with that peace of mind, you can turn your attention to something just as important. How your behavior at the terminal itself could determine whether you're welcomed on board. 14. Behavioral red flags before boarding. The cruise experience begins long before you step onto the gangway. It starts the moment you enter the terminal. In 2025, cruise lines are closely monitoring behavior with cameras, security teams, and staff reports. Displays of aggression, visible intoxication, or even rudeness toward employees can raise red flags that end with being denied boarding on the spot. For travelers who love the joy of community at sea, the camaraderie of shared adventures, and the warm smiles that make cruising special, this can feel like the ultimate disappointment. That's why practicing mindful behavior matters so much. First impressions truly set the tone for your voyage. As hospitality experts remind us, respect is the passport to every door. And nowhere is that more true than at embarkation. By staying calm, polite, and patient, you're not only protecting your trip, but also contributing to the welcoming spirit that makes cruising feel like family. Think of it this way. The journey begins at check-in. A friendly attitude there is the first step toward the laughter, sunsets, and memories waiting just beyond the pier. And with this in mind, let's move forward to one final factor that often catches travelers off guard: believing their insurance will cover situations it never actually does. 15. Travel insurance misconceptions. Here's a surprise that often catches travelers off guard. Many people assume that travel insurance is a safety net for every situation, but in reality, most policies will not cover boarding denials caused by your own mistakes. Issues like expired documents, simple booking typos, undisclosed criminal records, or even behavioral problems at the terminal are usually excluded. For those of us who cherish peace of mind at sea, who value the sense of freedom knowing everything is taken care of, this misunderstanding can lead to real disappointment. That's why practicing insurance literacy is essential. Read the fine print carefully, ask questions before you buy, and never assume you're covered for preventable errors. Experts in the travel industry often remind us that insurance is designed to protect against the unexpected, not the overlooked. By taking a few extra minutes to clarify what's included, you'll save yourself from false confidence later. So as you prepare for your voyage, think of insurance as one tool in your travel kit, not the whole solution. Pair it with awareness and preparation, and you'll board not just with coverage, but with true confidence in the journey ahead. Here's the truth. Being denied boarding isn't just about rules, it's about readiness. A cruise doesn't begin when you hear the ship's horn or step onto the deck for the first time. It begins long before that, with the way you prepare, the details you double-check, and the awareness you carry into this new era of digital travel. So before you pack your swimsuit, your camera, or your favorite evening outfit, make sure you also pack something more valuable: knowledge. Because sometimes the smallest habit, the tiniest preparation, can make the difference between sipping a cocktail as the ship sails into the sunset or standing on the pier, watching it leave without you. If this video helped you feel more confident about cruising, give it a like and subscribe to Travel Vibes for weekly tips that turn travel worries into smooth sailing. And now, we'd love to hear from you. Which of these reasons surprised you most? Or maybe you have your own story about a near miss at the terminal. Share it in the comments. We're all here to learn from each other. Until next time, sail smart, stay prepared, and bon voyage.